adventure might be. I get emails from various travel companies about what they're offering. Last week, I received an email from one such company, and the writer, instead of promoting an exotic adventure, shared the story about how a Delta Airlines employee changed her life. Beth is her name, and she was in a Delta Sky Club and was walking toward the restroom when an employee passed her, coming in the opposite direction, looking very intently at a lottery ticket. Beth pleasantly asked her, "Did you win?" And the employee looked up at her laughing and said, "I don't know. As long as I don't scratch it, I have hope. I could be a winner." The truth is that as followers of Christ, we are already winners. The gospel reading gives us a glimpse of what we have won. Peter and James and John are terrified when they witness the transfiguration of Jesus. But somehow Peter knows it is a wondrous and good thing because he suggests that they stay put on the mountain. What we experience on that mountain as we stand with the disciples is a turning point from one way of seeing Jesus to another. The transfiguration of Jesus, clothed in the glorious light of God, is a vision of what is to come for him, and it is promised also to us. Transfiguration is our future, but we're not there yet. We are still on this journey called life. And if there's one thing I have learned in my travels, it is that the journey is never as enjoyable as the destination. But it's part of the experience, and not something to just be endured, but to be lived. Now, I will admit to doing everything I can to make the journey as easy and comfortable as possible. But we all know how little control one has when traveling. The same is true of our lives. So much of what life throws at us is out of our control. But that doesn't mean we should accept living as an endurance challenge to just slog our way through until we can get to the reward at the end. Jesus understood this, and that's why he came back down the mountain. He came down into the valley of the shadows of real life, because that is where we live. And if Jesus is going to have any meaning in our lives, it must be here where we are. That image of Jesus, aglow on the mountaintop, steeped in glory, proclaimed as God's Son, the beloved, that Jesus draws us to him like moths to a porch light on a summer evening. But that instinctual attraction will only get us so far. Because if the shiny Jesus is all we have to hold on to, what happens when we step into a place where the shadows of real life obscure the light? What happens when the promise of tomorrow isn't enough to get us through today? The fact that Jesus came down that mountain is the essence of the gospel. He came down from his rightful place of glory to embrace our gritty, complicated, and always challenging lives. And he did it out of love. He didn't make that journey to gloat about who his Father is and to make us all feel bad that we will never be perfect like him, no matter how hard we try. This story is not about us trying to climb the mountain just to be like Jesus. It's about Jesus coming down, all the way down, to walk with us through all the difficult, heartbreaking, and even wretched times of our lives. Wherever we may go in life, Christ has already been there. And where Christ is now, we will one day be. But we don't get one without the other. Resurrection life first requires living out our human experience. We are all here this morning because we want our living to be transformative for ourselves and others. And the transformation we seek is to become more like Jesus, as the collect said this morning, growing from glory to glory until we are fully illuminated by God's love, from the outside in and the inside out. That's transfiguration. And that's the destination and the destiny of this journey called life. The gospel reading for this last Sunday before Ash Wednesday is always this story of Jesus on the mountain with Peter, James, and John. It bridges Epiphany to Lent. The last 5 weeks of the gospel readings have given us snapshots of Jesus' life and work. In Lent, we are challenged to take a good look at our own living and how we can cultivate our relationship with God day by day. In just a few days, the Ash Wednesday liturgy will challenge us to use the time leading up to Easter to renew our faith through self-examination and repentance. The liturgy suggests prayer, fasting, and self-denial, and reading and meditating on God's holy word. I hope you will take that challenge seriously. But please, don't go headlong into Lent without taking the light of the Transfiguration along with you. Use the radiance of Christ to illuminate this season, never leaving hope and confidence behind. On Wednesday, we will be called to a holy Lent. Making this season holy means being intentional about connecting with God. That's what penance is, a focus on drawing closer, moving from glory into glory as we try to be more Christ-like. I tend to discourage people from giving up things for Lent unless they can draw a clear connection from the self-denial to how it makes them feel closer to God. When most people try to give up something for Lent, it becomes purely a behavioral discipline, not a spiritual discipline. Behavioral disciplines make us feel deprived and cranky. Spiritual disciplines bring us closer to God and to our own transfigurations. Instead of not doing something for Lent, perhaps you should do something for Lent. We have several offerings through the church, and some don't even require you to leave your home. Or you could make a commitment to a certain amount of time every morning for prayer, or consistent grace before meals, or a gratitude journal. Or, here's an idea. Instead of giving up chocolate, which seems to be very popular, go out and buy the best chocolate you can afford. Every day during Lent, enjoy a bit of that chocolate and let it be your prompt to thank God for the blessings in your lives and to pray for your own faith and for those who need your prayers. Now, you may be wondering how eating chocolate or doing other things you enjoy, like spending more time with your kids or cooking a favorite meal for your family, how can those be proper Lenten disciplines? Well, penance is all about focusing attention on our relationship with God. So anything we do which reminds us of how God is present in our lives and draws us closer to God is penance. It's not what you do to observe a holy Lent. It's why you do it. God yearns for an ever-growing relationship with every single one of us. The church gives us Lent as a tool for building that relationship. And Jesus came down from that mountain to guide us through it all. For that, let us give thanks to God.